Welcome home. This is what most churches display at the entrance. Welcome home, and we thought it would be fun to talk about our home values.
Sure.
At Chapel is the church that we lead here. For those who are just connected to FGAC and don't have the full context, Marshall started this church 11 years ago called Gold Coast Chapel, together with Dan and his wife and Marshall's wife and a few other families that you will probably hear about it in the story. When do I come to the story? I don't even know. I was in the middle of the mess, and then I went to Brazil, started one of our churches. There's a few of our churches that started here too. And 11 years later, we're just trying to plant more churches and extend that. But we were talking about home. You know, a lot of churches say, welcome home at the door. And we have our own definition of what we call home and how we use the acronym, HOME. And I would love for you to share. Let's just share open, just have a conversation about that, what that means, and how that can be applied to whoever's watching that has the intention of either leading the church, helping with the team, or maybe just discipling people and trying to understand what that looks like.
I think before the acronym, it is a beautiful picture. Home should be a beautiful picture of God's family.
Yeah.
So that's why I think a lot of churches use that expression. Now, welcome home. There's such a beautiful feeling about it. Firstly, we're coming home to God. We're into His family. So there is that validation of that use. We're in God's family. He's preparing a home for us. And while we're here on earth, we are part of His family, and we want this to be like a good home. So you can see why it's important and why churches use it. There's sometimes a disparity between what people experience and actually what a home is like. So that's probably can create the conflict. You should be home every day. You go home every night to sleep. Yeah. So
and your home is not tidy most of the times.
Yeah, your home is not tidy.
Your home is not huge.
No, it's not palatial.
Yeah.
So, and that's, your home is it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's what you can afford as a family.
Yeah.
So, some houses aren't homes.
Yeah.
Some houses are painful for people. So we have this acronym HOME that we try and live by, and we say them, but it's the ones that are serving in the home that actually do the work.
Yeah, and actually understand the reason why that is there. Because if I understood it correctly, and for the last 7 years, what I've tried to do is most of these things will go unnoticed.
Of course.
But they're natural.
Yeah.
People go like, this is really welcoming.
So we literally treat our family time, our gathering on a Sunday, like it was people coming to our house.
Yeah.
Where we live, our home. So in order for that to happen, in order for people to come to our home for dinner, we have to be prepared. We have to tidy up. We have to put things away. They're coming to our house so we can serve them dinner.
Yeah.
So,
but it's important to emphasize that because they come into your home, not your hotel.
Yeah. So
yes, it is tidy. Yes, it is prepared. Yes, we've got food. We're gonna have fun, but it's not a hotel. So you won't see chauffeurs.
No.
That's the difference. A lot of times that was the reality for us. Different context, obviously Brazil, but I'm sure in Australia it's the same. Where people would see that, welcome home. And even in Brazil, they would write it in English, which makes no sense. But people walk in, it's like, this is not my home. And then that's why we made the effort to make it feel and look like home.
Yeah. And so, people know where we live for a start. So you don't have to have people in the car park at your home.
Yeah.
Because they know where you live. They know the driveway. So they knock on the door. You greet them at the door. Hey, welcome to... Well, they know it's your home because they're coming to my home. There's the different rooms. There's usually something to eat or drink when they arrive. And then there's the meal. And then there's time to chill out and hang. So, but that's home. So we the ones that are hosting them, do all the work.
Yeah.
We do the work. That's our job. We're serving them.
Mm.
So that's all the preparation
And
before.
you always say that, like, for a family with 2 kids to leave their houses and come to
Big
hang out
job.
with us for a couple of hours, that's a big thing.
Yeah, it is.
And people go like, oh, but it's the price of serving Jesus. Yeah, but it's new for them.
Yeah, they're not serving
Yeah.
Jesus. They're coming to be served.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're here to serve them when they come to our house. So that's how we started in our lounge room 11 years ago
Mm.
in 2012. Okay, family, it's Saturday night. Tomorrow morning we've got 10, 20, 30 people coming to our house. Let's be prepared. Let's get ready.
Yeah.
So, shopping, prepare, tidy, vacuum, set up. In the morning, prayer, devotion, what are we doing? Make sure we're all good. So there's a lot of preparation because
Yeah.
we don't want the people to come having to think about that.
Exactly.
We're hosting them. So home, H stands for hassle-free. When you come to our house, you can be hassle-free. We're not
Yeah.
we're not here to get anything from you.
Mm.
We're here to bless you. We're here to encourage you. Here to speak the word of the Lord into you. So
For as long as it takes.
there's no hassle. You will not be hassled on your commitment,
Yeah.
your punctuality, your kids, behavior. It's hassle-free. And we operate like that in our home. When our kids come home from school or from work, it should be hassle-free. This is where they can breathe, sit on the couch, breathe.
Yeah, because there is a sense of feeling safe
Yeah,
at home.
yeah.
And unfortunately, this is one of the outcomes that does not please us as, church people,
Yeah.
that people don't feel safe in churches.
And they get hassled.
Yeah.
Have you given you? I'm going to pass. I never pass an offering bucket around at my home.
Mm.
I'm paying the price for you to come to my house.
Yeah.
Because I want you there, and I want to serve you and show you God's love. So I'm not going to ask you to pay for anything.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you to commit to anything. I'm not going to. Here's a vacuum cleaner. You need to help out on with the kids area because.
Because your kids are there.
Yeah, because no. We will, our family
Yeah.
will serve you. So it's hassle-free. That's, no one's going to ask for your money. No one's going to ask for your time. No one's going to ask for your details to follow you up every single day. Just come. If you want to leave, start late, arrive late, leave early.
Yeah.
All good.
And for the people who are listening to this, and if they are doing anything related to church leadership or whatever, pastoring, they might think, oh, if I do that, people are never going to give, which is true. And that's okay.
But it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Who's our provider?
exactly.
The Lord is our provider, or are the sheep that we look after our provider? Well, no, the Lord is our provider.
Yeah.
So he gives seed to the sower.
sower.
So if you're not sowing, you won't get more.
Yeah.
So, hassle-free. It's got to be a hassle-free environment. Why aren't you raising your hands when we're singing?
Yeah.
I don't tell my kids when they come home from school, why aren't you reading your Bible? That doesn't matter.
Mm.
Come on, guys, you should be happier than that. Now, there are times where there's an exhortation, a word from the Lord.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if people want to sit down when everyone else is standing, doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll get you there once we get you the E, the whole, the last part. But, H, it's hassle-free.
Hassle-free.
And then O stands for?
Open.
Open.
We're open.
Yeah.
So we have an open door. We have an open book. Have an open fridge. Open home. open heart. We believe home should be open.
Yeah.
So it's not, is it 24/7? Well, I'm available. So I think that's important. My kids can come home anytime, any state.
Yeah.
And they can fall,
Messy or not, clean or not.
they can fall soft at home.
Hmm.
So I'd rather them home safe than scared to come home.
Yeah.
safe.
And here's a great analogy. If the home is safe and it's open and they can come in any state, and we would rather that, and I'm pretty sure if you can read any dot on an i's, you'll make sense. But if that's the reality, you just make room for the Holy Spirit, and they will grow as they will grow with a safe home. We all know broken families will result in, generally, obviously, will result in youth being all over the place. So if the home is safe and they're ready to come and they can come any state, we'll just provide that safety net.
Yeah.
And just wait.
I'm not going to judge, I'm not going to judge people for the state they arrive home.
Yeah.
They're part of our family. We are obligated to love them. Oh, but then you're enabling them. No, we don't.
No.
We don't compromise our values.
Yeah.
Because we embrace someone in the state they're in. Otherwise, you create an exclusivity of entrance.
Yeah. And it's like you said, like we're very clear. It's not how you start. It's how you finish.
Yep. So, not that my kids have, but if they were to come home in a very messy state, they can't come in because until they scrub themselves up and get themselves sober and get the blood off their hands or whatever.
Yeah.
No, this is home. You fall into our arms at home.
And I love how that ties into Jesus' teachings. One of the many examples, Jesus comes to Peter and said, Peter, you're already cleaned because of the word I've spoken to you. And what happens to Peter? A few pages later, he denies Jesus.
Yeah.
So we go like, but wasn't he clean? Well, look at you. Look at the church.
Now
look
he's
at the
dirty.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
man.
And
It's
then
just,
what does Jesus do after that?
just keeps going.
Let's make some fish.
Yeah.
Hey, do you love me?
You love me?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Are you sure? Are you sure? But
So
that is, like you
open.
said, it's the word. That is the exhorting that comes at the right time.
Yes.
If we trust the Holy Spirit,
Sure.
If you're trying to manufacture that, man, you're just gonna break people.
Yeah. And that's where you try and get rid of pretense.
Yeah.
So as a servant in the house of the Lord, I have to myself be authentic and genuine and open.
Yeah.
Open to my life, really. So pretense, when people come to my house, I don't wear my suit around my house.
Yeah.
I wear my normal clothes around my house. So it's the same way. You don't want to create a levels of status
Yeah.
in an open environment like that. So I think otherwise you create pretense and levels and statuses that are not necessary, that changes home from home to more of a club, to more of a organization.
Yeah.
So it's got to be open.
That's true. So I remember when I was starting our church, I wrote on the back of one of my Bibles that I wanted to make Sundays, and most of the things that we're talking at our, using our home acronym relates to our family time, which is our Sunday gathering. But it's not exclusive to that, but it's mostly what we're talking about here. And I remember I wrote it down on the back of my Bible. Sundays need to be edifying. They need to be, we use the word motivating, And people might say, that's just, church should not be a motivational speech. And I'm thinking, you're probably right, but do you want to bring people down? Do you want people to leave depressed? Like, what's the goal? So motivating. You talk about
M
that.
is for motivating.
Yeah.
And motive also has to do with, I think, movement as well. So there has to be some movement, motivation in your walk with the Lord. So
Yeah.
people come to my house, we want them to go away feeling like, man, I can make a difference.
Yeah.
I can change this aspect of my life. I can be closer to Jesus. He loves me. So I do like. I don't want people coming to my home going away unmotivated.
Yeah.
Or slack.
Yeah.
Or
just the same.
just the same.
It made no difference.
Yeah.
Spending time with you made no difference.
Yeah. Hassle-free, open and motivating lends itself to change.
Yeah.
Especially when it's love. Love
Yeah.
is the whole motivation of everything we do.
Yeah.
You know,
We,
and I don't want people. I want people to be motivated to open their own home.
Yeah.
And have people over.
Because if they spend enough time with you and your family, we're using the analogy of family, and they come enough times to your house, and it's amazing because I can see this with my own eyes, how people emulate elements of your own house. So I've been to many houses from people in our church, and a few of them have the little wooden board thing with their values, because you got that, and I'm thinking, I want to put my values in there, but if I put it on wood, it's going to be really like... So I'm trying to think how I'm going to do this. Yesterday, I was at someone's house, and I saw how they organized their kitchen, and I could see clean lines, clear lines in organization and all of that. And I'm like, I know where they got that from. So I'm thinking, this is replicable. It passes on. It catches on, right? So there's...
it's got to be motivating. We want people to want to pray more.
Yeah.
Coming after come to our house, they're like, man, we should pray more, family. You have a family devotion. You have devotion. Someone shares in our family. When you come to our family and literally our home, someone's going to share something.
Yeah.
Whether it's firstly, you're going to be welcomed into our home.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome. Tonight we're going to have some sharing, some fellowship together.
Yeah.
Communion. So there's a welcome, and then there's some purpose why you're here.
Yeah.
So that we open the Word and share Scripture.
Yeah.
And it's not teaching; it's sharing. We're sharing. There's an element of teaching because you're talking about the Bible. You're sharing Scripture, so there's going to be an exhortation or encouragement there.
Yeah.
But that should motivate you to say, "Oh, wow, it's not that difficult."
Yeah.
It shouldn't be difficult.
One of the things that I love about our community, and I remember that from the early days, and it's still going on. It's predictable, but it's mysterious.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of every family time, we gather the people who are serving, who are hosting, who are welcoming everyone, and then we tell them what's going to happen.
This is what's
such
happening.
and such going to do this, and it's not just say we're in control, not the Holy Spirit. It's like, this is what we planned. But then how many times have we messed that up in the middle? It's like, you know what? God's doing something else. But we are ready.
We're ready. Yep.
It's beautiful.
And then testify for us is very motivating because it's one, it's declaring what God's done in someone's life, and it's giving glory to the Lord. And everyone's voice is valid in our community. So you give space for testimony.
Yeah.
And
it moves the spotlight.
Oh man, it's so encouraging, inspiring. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Look what God's done in this person's life. Maybe he can do that in my life, So there's that, definitely got to be that. I want my home to be my kids love coming home.
Yeah.
Because they're going to get encouraged, charged up, motivated. Come on, let's do it. Let's make some changes. Let's make a difference.
And you want your kids to come home when they don't have to.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to be here.
I want to be here.
Like, one of the things we have with our family time that we are returning to it is our breaking bread.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, there's something beautiful about that. Few hundred people actually
well, people
sitting around a few tables.
When we started, we had that in our house once a month. We celebrate communion around a meal, which is awesome.
Which is communion.
Yeah. So, and then when we had 30 people at home, Oh, that's achievable. Go to the hall, have 100 people in the hall. Well, what are you going to do, Marsh? You're going to charge? You're going to... No. We'll just keep doing the same
It's
thing.
the same.
What about when there's 200 people, you have 200 people for lunch? It's just the same principle. And so this Sunday we've, probably got a couple of 100 people for lunch. Same thing. It just works.
Yeah.
You don't need to charge.
Yeah.
I don't offer a plate run after Rochelle and I have made dinner for someone. Here, you want to make a donation?
Yeah. There is
Pointless.
there is this the legend says that there is this board at the entrance of NASA saying the body of the bee is not made to fly. It's a good thing the bee doesn't know it.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's like same thing you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, 100 people, 200. We've never done it before. Well, it's the same principle.
Same
if it can be
thing.
done for one, can be done for 10.
Why do we need to start charging now when it's worked fine so far?
Yeah,
So that becomes a hassle.
exactly.
We don't need a hassle. We don't hassle our team for being there or not being there.
Yeah.
Away. Like, you should be motivated enough to turn up when you need to turn up.
Mm.
But it's not an expectation that we have.
Yeah.
Like my kids, I don't want to hassle them. How come you were 5 minutes late? Why weren't you, why didn't you do the dishes tonight?
Yeah.
No, we all just do the dishes when we need to do the dishes. I don't have an expectation that, they can't be in my house or they'll step down from stuff because they don't meet an expectation.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not family. That's
Yeah.
not family. It's got to be far more fluid than that. So,
Hassle-free, open, motivated, moving. I like the idea of moving.
Yeah.
We're not going to get too much into details because we can talk more about it. But, there is intentionality behind, you're new here. And we kind of know what you expect in 2 years, 5 years, 10
Sure.
years. It's not really a timeline, but there are things that we want to do through our pillars, feed the flock,
Yeah.
shepherd the flock, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And so a new person who's burnt, really depressed or gone through life's challenges finds himself in our home.
Yeah.
No one's going to hassle them. It's going to be open for them. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can. You just come to eat the food. Eat the food as
Eat the
much as
food.
you need.
Yeah.
And it's motivating. You hear stories of people whose life changed.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, maybe that can happen for me. At some point,
Yeah.
there's going to be a shift and a change that's motivating. And so therefore the E is the equipping side.
Mm.
They need to be equipped and they need to be encouraged. So, and empowered. So there's all these E words, but definitely needs to be equipped.
Yeah.
You need to equip doesn't just mean putting tools in their hand. It's restoring, it's retraining,
Yeah.
it's positioning, it's discovery.
Yeah.
It's
So beautiful thing, and we might do another chapter talking about the 4 pillars
Yeah.
of our church, which
Sure.
is family time, feed the flock, shepherd the flock, release on purpose. But I think it's really relevant because this question is probably on the back of the minds of the intentional people watching this.
Mm-hmm.
How do people grow? How do people shift that? And one of the things that I love, it might not be the only thing we have in our community, and you might have other things in mind to share now, but one of the things that I love is the banquet seasons. Most churches are stuck into a model,
yeah.
right? We are a cell group church, or we are organic church, or house church. They fail to realize it's just a church, just operates differently. But I think it has to do with the culture of the Gold Coast, the weather, the holidays. This place is 300,000 people living in here, but during summer it's like 2 million. So it's different audience and all of that. So I love the banquet season. You want to share a little bit about how the banquet plays into our process?
When it comes to small groups, life groups, connect groups, cell groups, whatever you want to call it, there's a hassle about that.
Yeah.
I think it's a hassle for people to have people in their home every week. After a year, they're like, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
It's wear and tear. It's tiring. And actually, people can have a small group whenever they want.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't have to be mandated, regulated, formulated.
Yeah, we never
legislated.
forbade anything.
Yeah. So I have a small group on a Monday morning, and it's just men, and we get together, pray. It's awesome. So that's all good. Do whatever you want to do with small groups. But when
I think this is important just to reinforce. Like, we're not telling people not to do it,
do what you.
but we're not telling them what to do either. We have
hassle-free.
a few things to keep it hassle free,
Yeah.
and you just add whatever you want to add onto it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not going to pamper to your social needs
Yeah.
or your connection needs. You need to find valid connection yourself. So, but Banquet 5 is about the equipping side. We need to equip people. And so twice a year we put on a spread of teaching on the banquet table. And we say, this is available for you. We started with 4 things on the banquet. Purple Book, Valiant Man, prayer, and devotion.
Yeah.
So four things. And when we start,
4 disciplines, they are good for the growth or the maturity of the
we're
Christian
equipping
person.
people.
Yeah.
So, and they were, the longest is 13 weeks, which is the Purple Book. And that's, so we do, a season is 13 weeks.
Like 3 months.
3 months. So March, April, May. And then we have a break for 2 months.
Yeah.
And then we do a second banquet season. And we have another 4 things back then on the menu. No,
Like August, September, and October.
August, September, October. And then that's it. So then people who facilitate them in their homes, it's for a period of time.
Yeah.
I can handle 12 weeks in my home.
And not all of them are 12 weeks.
And not all. Some are 5, some are 6.
Because you said, like, we started with 4, but now
4
we've got about
banquets.
60.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Just different things that we found
yeah.
that people need to be equipped on. And some of them were ideas that people brought in. Some of them were ministries. And this is what I love that I think should be reinforced. We're not in the business of asking people to step into what we need.
No.
We're in the business of helping them
Discover.
discover and be released on purpose. This is what you're good at. Do this.
Yep. So the equipping in Banquet 5 is great because you can cover spectrum of teaching.
Yeah.
So marriage, money, biblical foundation, hearing the voice of God, sharing your faith, reading the Bible, interpreting the Bible, end times, prophecy, 1 Timothy, James, Ephesians, John.
I can testify to how good that is. Like I've done Valiant Man as a course back then. Circle Breaker is amazing. The marriage one.
Yep.
There are the theological ones.
Yep.
Some of them are going to be here for pastors and church planners and whoever wants to learn from them, like 1 Timothy and the banquet that you ran once or twice. I think I want to plan a church.
Yep.
It's going to be here too. I'm really excited about that. 1 Timothy, like we said, the Heart of a Shepherd.
Heart of a Shepherd.
That you ran a couple of times too. A lot of people have good feedback about it. And again, it's not just made for pastors. I've had feedback from people who have nothing to do with leading churches, but they just wanted to learn more.
Yeah.
So some of them are going to be here because we think it's good content for the church sphere to get that point. But some of them are like intrinsically important that you sit down and just have that time together. And
so you want a place to be home, you need to equip and encourage. It needs to be encouraging. We call it fail safe. If my kids, say something, pray, and they get shy and then they shut down, it's okay. You don't need to, just encourage them.
Yeah.
Let them fill the gap as they grow. And you want that environment that's encouraging, but also equipping them to live life better. So I want my kids to learn most of the stuff at home.
And they won't be equipped when they're 10 years old.
No.
Not fully equipped.
No. So,
some of them are not equipped when they're 30 or 40.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. So that's home. That's how we operate. And we literally try and put it through the focus of people coming to our house.
And in order for us to wrap this up, I would love for you to just briefly share why you're so adamant about this vision thing. I know it was back then, it was something that you bumped against, like vision before people. We talked about this on a different episode, and this is it's disgusting. But when people ask us, what's your vision? What's your mission? All of that. What do we respond?
The vision is Jesus Christ. That's simply our vision. So, the book of Hebrews tells us, fix your eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith.
Yeah.
Who for the joy set before him endured the cross, despising its shame, all that. So, but if we just kept our eyes on Jesus, man, everything changes.
Yeah.
Everything changes. How you treat people, the expectation you have on people, the filter that you see people through, how you talk to people, it all shifts. If
The
we
things
all
of earth will grow strangely dim.
in the light of His glory
Yeah.
and grace. So there is this, our whole purpose and vision is for every person to just look up into the eyes of Jesus. You know, Peter, when he stepped out of the boat,
Yeah.
all he had to do was
Look
keep
up,
looking
you
at
did.
the Lord.
Oh, sorry.
But how often do we get overwhelmed?
Yeah.
And, you know, Peter gets hassled for it, but I wish I was Peter
Yeah.
sometimes. Hassled for it, but, you know, he stepped out of the boat. How often do we get overwhelmed by life circumstances, find ourselves drowning, and yet when we look to Jesus,
There he is.
there he is, and there's assurance and strength and everything we need. So that's our vision.
Yeah.
And it's
beautiful.
So you put everything through that filter.
Yeah.
Is this pointing to Jesus? Testify? Man, that's saying this is my,
Yeah.
look at my life, but look at what Jesus,
Jesus
has
did.
done in my life. Communion? Wow, that's the centerpiece. That's all Christ,
Yeah.
the love gift himself. We're always remembering that. Sharing the word? Man, that's about Jesus. Food and fellowship after? We've all just been talking about God's generosity and love. So that's our vision.
Mm.
He's the centerpiece of
Yeah.
civilization.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we could do a whole day just talking
Man.
about these things and the elements and
Yeah.
finding places where churches could benefit from there, or people
Yeah.
who are thinking about starting the
look,
church.
We've got to remember the church is people. So the gathering of people, it's that is the church.
Yeah.
So wherever people gather as a body of believers, the church, we want that to be like home.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
Facilities are irrelevant.
They are.
Yeah.
They're a great gathering place. That's why we actually call our gathering chapel.
Yeah.
That's why chapel is the name, because chapel's where
Supposed to
we
be
meet,
small. Yeah.
but we are the church. You know.
Yeah.
Chapel's just where we meet. We are the church.
Yeah. It could be a blessing in disguise. You know, it could be a great help, or it could be the
Yes.
greatest barrier that you
It can
put
be a
ahead of you.
distraction.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with facilities. I've got no issue. As long as the facilities are serving the people.
Yeah.
And the people aren't serving the facility.
Isn't it what they say? Like, as long as the organization is serving the organism and not the other way around.
Yeah, structure's important.
Yeah.
As long as it's serving the people.
Yeah.
So, so structure needs to change and can change.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the kingdom of God, I think we need to be a lot more flexible than we are.
Mm.
So
Beautiful. That's
so
beautiful.
welcome
Wow.
home, bro. Welcome home.
Welcome home. That is home. I think that's been enough for this episode. We'll go back to the next one talking about the 4 elements and
Great.
more stuff. Bro, thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.